Game 4 of the weekend, Force against the Chicago Blues. Start off for the Force here is going to be Zaremba, Bottorff, Westhoff with Blackburn and Cumberland on defense. We're going to try filming from one end of the ice, so we may not get a lot of visual from the opposite end, because I'm not going to mess with zooming in too much. Here we go. Here comes Cumberland with a shot. Saved by the Blues goalie. It's covered up with a blocker there. He finally covers. Blues feet up ahead. Zaremba there to stop it. Westhoff blocks the pass. Tries to dump it in deep. Bottorff now onto the stick of Zaremba. Zaremba backhands it. Blues player squirts up and around to Cumberland. Cumberland feeds it over. Blackburn's going to be there. Blackburn fires a shot towards the net. Goes to Bottorff. Around. Covered up by the goalie. Fraze to take the face off. Kicks out to Kelly. Kelly tries to feed it over to Llewellyn. Blues take it the other way. Shot from deep. Kick to the side by Hosier. Bounced around in front. Coming away with it there's going to be Llewellyn. He's upended with a big trip by the Blues. On the boards, kept in by Hagen. Hagen with a shot goes high. Fed into the center, can't handle it, squirts all the way across to Llewellyn. Now to Hagen. Hagen loses the puck back the other way with Warner on defense. Around behind the net, gathered up, it's going to be Harrison. Hagen still in possession of the puck, feeds it ahead to Kelly. Kelly to Easton Legault. On to the stick of Kelly. Kelly tries to feed it over to Fraze, doesn't make it through. Picks up the loose puck. Loses to center ice. Warner goes down. We're coming back the other way with Fraze. Fraze takes a shot from deep. Saved by the Blues. Fed all the way down the ice. It's going to go for icing. Face off by Max McDonald. Taken away by the Blues. Kept in by Blackburn. Dumped back in deep by Potts. Blues reverse. Potts takes it away. Blues maintain possession. Send it up and out onto the stick of Blackburn. He feeds it over to Martin. Martin dumps it back in. Around behind the net go the Blues. Taken away by McDonald. For a moment on the stick of Legault. Shot! Goes right to the net. McDonald upended. Legault feeds it across the Potts. Potts loses it to Chicago. Chicago feeds it ahead. Chipped ahead. Back checking there is going to be McDonald. Blackburn there. McDonald gathers it behind the net. Weaving through traffic. McDonald into center ice. Ropes it across to Potts. Potts fires it down deep. Back on the stick, McDonald. He has it taken away. Fed out to center ice. Martin's going to be there to gather it. Grayson Martin dumps it back in. Kept in there by Zaremba. Chicago able to clear to center ice. Stick lift by Bodorf. Takes it away. Bodorf on the attack. Makes one miss. Backhand shot. Blocks. Saved by the Blues. Still on the stick of Bodorf down low. He's battling. Kicks it out to Zaremba. Zaremba can't get anything on it. Now to Bodorf. Kick to the sideboards. Westhoff there to pick it up. Dump down low. Control gained by Chicago. Puck taken away there by Westhoff. Oliver feeds it across the Bodorf. Bodorf for a shot from deep. Blocker saved by the Blues. Down the ice they go. Defended there by Warner as he pokes it off the stick. Picked up by Bodorf. He feeds it through his feet. Stick lift there by Westhoff. But the Blues maintain possession. 8:04 left here in the first. Shot from deep. Wide. Now Bodorf with it. Through center ice. It's a poke at him. Takes a shot from deep. Wide. Squirts all the way around. Going to be picked up by Cumberland. Cumberland takes a slap shot to try to feed it to center. Westhoff doesn't get through. Chicago back the other way. Takeaway there by Zaremba for the moment. He's covered up by a few Chicago players. They come away with it with a shot. Blockered away by Hosier. Taking a steal there by Zaremba. Zaremba's got Botdorf ahead. He feeds it up to him. Now he's got Westhoff. Blues back the other way. Hagen there to take it. Takes it right off the Blues player's stick. Gaining speed. Coming through center ice here is Hagen. Hagen feeds it back to Westhoff. Westhoff tries to gather it. Stuffs it to the side into the pads of the goaltender from Chicago. Back check there by Hagen as he pokes it ahead to Blackburn. Blackburn gathers it up. Sits with it on his stick for a moment. Feeds it rink wide to Botdorf. Can't handle the pass. Blues keep it in. Botdorf gains control back. Now to pick it up is going to be Kelly. Here comes Kelly. Nobody to help her. She feeds it to the center. Nobody home. Chicago bats it to the sideboards. Picked up by Hagen. No, hops the stick. Chicago takes it. Upended there was Fraze. Now Hagen's tied up. Kicks out into the neutral zone. Fraze there to feed it back down. It's gonna go for icing. 6:19 scoreless in the first. Face off on the other end is going to be taken by Fraze. Fed around by the Blues. Shot from deep. Up over the net. Blackburn to fight for it. Sends it over to Hagen. Harrison feeds it up ice. Doesn't connect. Gonna go all the way down for icing.
What's the name of it?
Season pass. The app or
No, that rig.
rig? Oh, it's from Logo. It's just a video like water style stuff. You know, the lighting and I just use the lighting. Hagen brings it all the way down ice. Skips around, goes to Llewellyn. Kept in by Blackburn. He chips it ahead of Fraze. Fraze. Shot. High and wide. Hagen keeps it in. Fraze to gather it up down deep. Centers it. Goes through the stick of Kelly. Back to Blackburn. He shoots. Blocked out in front. Sent all the way down the ice by the Blues. No icing as Hosier comes out and taps it ahead to Hagen. Fraze through center ice. Splits the defenders, gathers it, shoots. Lands on the side of the net. Fraze backhands it to the center. There's two players there for the Force. Neither one could get a handle on it. Blues the other way. Tied up on the boards there. Potts takes down one of the Blues players. Murphy Fraze is there as well. Fraze. Defender for the Blues falls down. Shot goes high and wide. Take the face off here is going to be Max McDonald. McDonald upended. Blues enter into the offensive zone. Taken away there onto the stick of Potts. Potts dumps it down low. It's going to go for icing. Face-off one there by the Force, taken away the Blues. Shot blocked in front by Warner. Onto the stick of Easton Legault. Easton through center ice. Tries to feed it through his legs. Blocked away by the Blues. Offsides. .332 left in the first. Scoreless. Face-off won by the Force. It was fed ahead to McDonald momentarily. The Blues took it away. Now stripped by Easton Legault. Wrapped around, sent back to Easton. Easton swipes at it, hops his stick. Blues on a rush the other way. Grayson Martin down deep to gather it up. Sends it around the boards to Potts. Doesn't have enough juice to make it there. Taken away a steal by Max McDonald. Max McDonald across the blue line. One too many dangles there. Trips up. Back the other way by Chicago. Fed back up to McDonald. Max McDonald entering. Feeds it over to Legault. Doesn't quite get to his tape. Shot by Legault. Skipped over the stick of the Chicago goaltender Wells. McDonald's tied up. Martin tried to keep it in. Back on defense here is going to be Warner as he's got a 2-on-1 against him. Shot wide of the net. Picked up by Westhoff. He can't clear it. Chicago takes a shot from deep, blocked in front by Bodorf onto the stick of Westhoff. He's got Bodorf and Zaremba trailing. Westhoff enters the zone. Westhoff to the net. Feeds it across just out of the reach of Bodorf. Bodorf tries to feed it back in. Doesn't quite get to Westhoff. Onto the stick of Zaremba. Max Zaremba loses the handle on it. And Blackburn to knock it away. Bodorf charging ahead, fires a shot off the blocker of the goaltender Wells. Fed around. Zaremba is going to be the first one there for the Force. Over to Bodorf. Bodorf feeds it out to Blackburn. Blackburn with a lot of open ice. Fires one from deep. And batted in by Bryson Bodorf. Assist by Blackburn. Put the Force on the board, 1-0 with 1:21 left here in the first. Face-off one back by Chicago. Down the other end's Blackbird on defense. Around behind the net is Cumberland. Cumberland feeds it back. On to Blackburn as he ropes it ahead to Westhoff. Chicago ends up taking that away. Cycling it around is Chicago as they dump it into the offensive zone. Chicago tries to feed it in the middle, deflected to the side by Blackburn. He goes to a knee to try another block. On to Bodorf. Bodorf cutting through center ice, gaining momentum. Here's Bodorf with a shot, blocked right in front by the Blues. Fed around, Zaremba is going to be the first one to it. Zaremba feeds it up to Cumberland. Cumberland with a shot from deep, blocked in front by the Blues. Westhoff there for the Force. Coming in with some aggression, stick lifts, they maintain possession. Rink wide pass doesn't connect. Back for Blackburn. 10 seconds left here in the first period. Stick lift attempt there by Westhoff. He gets tangled up with the Blues defender. Cycled around as the first period ends. 1-0 Force. On the ice to start the second period for the Force is going to be Kelly, Fraze, Llewellyn, Martin, and Hagen. Face-off won by the Force as Llewellyn rushes ahead. It's going to be offsides. Fraze to take the face-off. Picked up by Hagen. Chips it ahead. Entering the zone is Hagen. Hagen through ice, passes it over, almost connects with Llewellyn. Skips to the sideboards, knocked in deep by Martin. Round behind the net, Blues kick it back the other way, back to Martin as he slaps it back down low. Into the Chicago defender's skates there, upended by Llewellyn. On the stick of Fraze, he centers it up, clear to the side by Chicago. Murphy couldn't get anything on that pass. Chicago knocks it ahead, defended well there by Martin as he clears it to the side. Sent in deep by Chicago. First one to get it is going to be Martin. Kicks around. Fraze has got a breakaway. Fraze got Kelly and Llewellyn. Murphy with a shot. Puts it in. Backhand up over the goaltender's glove. Onto the board goes Murphy. Fraze. 11:51 left here in the second. Force up 2-0. Taking the face off. Looks to be Max McDonald. It's going to kick over there for Blackburn to pick it up off the boards. He doesn't get anything on it. Almost stolen by Chicago, offsides. McDonald back to the face-off dot. Face-off one to the side, doesn't connect with Potts. Onto the stick of Warner. Oh, he misses it. Skates over the top of it, feeds it ahead to Potts. Brantley has it taken away. Chicago with Warner on defense, feeds it ahead. Knocked to the side by Blackburn, picked up by McDonald. McDonald through center ice, fires one, blocked out in front. Into the skates, multiple Force players back on the stick. McDonald, he shoves it aside to Warner. Warner takes a slap shot wide. Chicago behind their own net. Knocked away there with great defense by McDonald. Staying pinched up against the boards. Blackburn ahead, defeated over to Warner. Hops his stick. Fed to the side for Blackburn. Blackburn rinks a wide pass, doesn't connect with McDonald. Has the right idea as McDonald picks it up and enters the offensive zone. McDonald feeds it, tries to get it to Legault. It's skipped around in front. Easton Legault with a goal from Max McDonald. Chicago. Poke check there by Blackburn, takes it away, feeds it to center ice. Chicago gathers it up, cycles it around. Enters the zone. Shot goes towards the net, deflected away by Blackburn. Blackburn feeds it over to Warner. Warner stick lifts, taken away by Chicago. Chicago tries to fire it. Fans on that shot, onto the stick of Bodorf. Bodorf sends it ahead to Westhoff. Westhoff on the rush. Slap shot by Warner. Blockered away there by the goaltender Wells from Chicago. Bodor feeds it out to Blackburn. Blackburn across to Warner. Warner winds another one up, takes a slap, goes wide. Chicago on the rush the other way. Good defense there by Zaremba. Blackburn pokes at it. Chicago comes away with it. Warner. Glove save, Hosier. Face-off dot's going to be Murphy Fraze. Kelly tries to feed it out. And it does. Skips to center ice. Fraze grabs it. Fraze is on a breakaway. Murphy with a shot. Can't get much on it. Skips a stick of Cumberland. He's fighting to keep it in. We got Cumberland still tied up. Llewellyn there to help him out. And Fraze back to pick it up, feeds it rink wide, doesn't connect. Blues are going to gather it and bring it in the zone. Shot gloved by Hosier up over the net. In the corners, Cumberland as he backhands it. Centering feed knocked away by Martin. He's upended. Blues with the puck. Shot goes wide. Fraze to pick up the loose puck. Fraze through center ice. He's got Kelly with Llewellyn right behind him. Shoots. Glove save, Wells. McDonald to take the face-off for the Force. He's got Legault and Potts out there, and then Hagen and Blackburn on defense. Here come the Blues as Blackburn retreats. Sends him to the side, can't get much on it. Good defense there, send him down. Hagen poke checks it away. Legault and Hagen fighting for it. On to the stick of Harrison Hagen. Hagen making a couple miss. Comes out to the Blues. Hagen knocks it off his stick. Goes to the neutral zone. Entering back in is Chicago. Chicago tries to make a move. Stolen away by Hagen. Down ice they go on a charge with Potts and McDonald. Hagen centers it. Can't get through. Chicago takes the puck. Feeds it around. Blackburn attempts to knock it down low, doesn't get anything on it. Kneels down to block that advanced pass by Chicago. Chicago gathers it up behind the net, feeds it around the boards. Nice play there by Easton Legault to keep it in. Blackburn hustling to try to maintain possession. Feeds it across to Hagen. Hagen accepts that puck. Dumps it up to Potts. Potts tries to backhand it in. Down low for the Force is going to be McDonald and Potts. Squirts out to Hagen. Hagen with the puck on his stick. Backhands one towards the net. Kicked around. Taken away by Chicago. Chicago through center ice. Poke check there by Hagen. Takes it away. Back goes Hagen. Hagen all alone. Shovels a backhand up over the net. McDonald is pinched on the boards there. Kicks it ahead to his own stick. Has it slapped away for the moment, but remains in possession. Backhand ones towards the net. Zaremba with a shot. Saved to the side by the Blues goalie. Westhoff down there battling for it. Kicks around. Blackburn's going to rush up to attempt to get it. Hops his stick. He's still fighting. Gets upended onto the stick of Bodorf. Bodorf for the stick lift. Centers one up. So, over Westhoff with a goal from Bodorf. Westhoff puts one in.
How do we get advertising on this?
You want to do it
This
in
is brought to you by Talon Custom Construction. The bones and everything.
Down low is Cumberland. Picking it up, sends it up to Westhoff. Westhoff feeds it out, trouble onto the stick of Bodorf. Bryson, round through one, puts another one in the washer machine, fires one at the net, blockered away by Wells. Cumberland making some moves here, fires one towards the net, almost connects with Westhoff on the other side. Fed back out, intercepted by Chicago. Back on defense is going to be Cumberland and Warner. Chicago gathers, fires, blocked away by Hosier. Centering feed there, doesn't connect with anybody for the Blues. Skips out to open ice, nobody there for the Force. Fanned on that shot was the Blues defender. Now Bodorf through center ice. He has it swiped away by the Blues defender. 4:26 left here in the second. 4-0 Force. Kept in by Zaremba. Zaremba making a move towards the net. Fires one. Glove save Wells. Down on the other end is going to be Murphy Fraze, Cora Kelly, Mason Llewellyn, Harrison Hagen, and Grayson Martin. Face-off won by Fraze on the stick of Llewellyn. He has it knocked away by Chicago. Martin to keep it in. Sends it in deep. Picked up by Fraze behind the net. Centers it out. Kelly was there. Can't get through to her. Has it again on his stick. Centers it up. Chicago ends up with the puck. Stolen away by Fraze as he cuts through center ice. Murphy around two defenders. Then it comes off his stick. Goaltender for the Blues comes out to kick it to the side. Kept in by Hagen. Hagen with a shot from deep. Glove save Wells. Murphy Fraze to take the face off. Wins it back to Kelly. Kelly slaps one towards the net. Goes wide. Llewellyn to pick up the puck. Loses the handle. Chicago chips it up the boards to themselves, but then Hagen comes away with it. Hagen reverses. Hagen finding the open ice. Feeds it ahead to Llewellyn. Llewellyn enters the zone. He's got Fraze and Kelly there. Toe drag shot. It's being kicked around in front. Skips out. Here come the Blues back the other way with Hagen on defense. Martin poke checks at it. Shot. Kick to the side by Hosier. Onto the stick of Cora Kelly. She has it taken away. Fraze there to poke it away.
Offside,
Battered around. Hagen's going to come down. Grayson Martin's going to gather it. Send it around. Blues keep it in low. Poke check there by Hagen. Hagen has it knocked off his stick. Legault is there as well. Fed up, not out. Shot. Surprising that went all the way through and didn't touch anybody. Hit the boards. Now Hagen with it the other way. Hagen's loose. The goaltender falls down. Couldn't get a shot off. Here comes Chicago with Grayson Martin and Murphy Fraze on defense. The centering feed was knocked away, covered up by Hosier. 2:07 left here in the second, 4-0 Force. Face-offs being taken by McDonald. We got Blackburn Warner on defense. Legault and Llewellyn as the attackers. Good pressure there by McDonald. Forces the puck into the neutral zone. Pokes it away onto the stick of Brantley Potts. Potts loses it for a moment. Now Legault's battling for it. Back to Potts. Chicago takes it off his stick. Warner there. Back check there by McDonald. Centering feed knocked away by McDonald. McDonald through center ice. Round one defender, loses a handle on it. Tied up on the boards. He's upended. Chicago. Pass over. Blackburn's there on defense. They try to feed it to each other one too many times. Shot goes wide. McDonald pick it up, chips it up the boards to Legault. Chicago tried to keep it in. He fanned on that attempt. Dumps it back in, offsides. Taking that face-off with Spadorf, wins it back to himself, reverses, cuts in between two Chicago players, enters the offensive zone. Spadorf with a shot, ropes it off the crossbar. Here comes Chicago. Blackburn back on defense. Good back check by Martin. Save there, covered up by Hosier. Face-off on this end is going to be taken by Bodorf. Fed up the ice by Blackburn, not out of the zone. Shot from deep, goes wide. Gathered up by Chicago. Fans on the pass, knocked away by Warner into center ice. Westhoff is going to be there to poke it ahead. Offsides. Sent in by Westhoff. Chicago brings it back the other way. Blackburn in position. Shot. Goes high. Skips around the boards. Kept in by Chicago. They send it in deep with 5 seconds left. Period's going to expire. And we sit still at 4-0 Force after 2.
Putting advertisements on that, even though we have a slip status. Is that all right? Brought to you by Talent Custom Construction.
It's on.
Oh, sure.
Start of the third period here is going to have a defensive pairing of Warner and Blackburn. Center up is going to be Murphy Fraze with Llewellyn and Kelly as the wingers. Murphy wins it ahead to himself. Murphy cuts through into the offensive zone. Fraze still with it on the stick. Fires one off the crossbar. Llewellyn with it now. Llewellyn into the sticks of Kelly as they match up together here. Still kicked around. Fraze shovel one towards the net. Sitting on the doorstep, taken away by Chicago. I'll start that clock there. Back on defense, Blackburn. He poke checks it to the side. Warner comes in to help. Ties him up on the boards. Blackburn battling on the net. Gathered up by Murphy. Fraze coming through center ice with Llewellyn trailing and Kelly to his right. Murph feeds it over to Kelly. Kelly with a shot. Glove down by Wells. Fed out. Slap shot coming in hot by Warner. Fed up. Shot by Llewellyn. Saved by the Chicago goaltender. Out to Blackburn. Blackburn tries to fire one. Blocked. Shoveled ahead and down the ice by Chicago. Fraze is going to be after it. Picks it up. Wraps around behind the net. Feeds it up to Kelly. Kelly across to Llewellyn. Little out of reach. Llewellyn maintaining possession for a moment. Into skates. Fraze with it. Murphy makes a move. Loses it off his stick onto the stick of Potts. Chicago the other way. Blackburn's going to be there on defense. Shot blocked in front by Blackburn. Centering feed blocked away by Blackburn. Now a shot. Save Hosier. Covered up by Talon.
Blackburn with a little push there at the end.
Needs to do that.
Get a little physical. I like the play.
Get the time right here. I'm about 10 seconds off. Murphy comes, that's Max McDonald, comes away with it through center ice. Here comes McDonald. Backhands one towards the net, covered up by Wells, goaltender for Chicago. On the ice for the Force is going to be Hagen, Martin, McDonald, Legault, and Potts. Chicago comes away with it. Knocked back down for Potts. Potts tied up. Squirts the puck out to center ice. Hagen gathers it. Waits for the players to get back on side. Feeds it across to Martin. Martin chips it in. Down low around behind the net. Potts the battle for it. Goes over his stick. Chicago as they feed it ahead. Knocked away by Martin. Martin with some good defensive play there. Picked up by Legault. It's going to be offsides on Chicago. Face off. Won and picked up by Chicago, and then they lose it. Bodorf on his stick, taken away. He's fighting back for it though. Ties the Chicago player up. They send it cross ice, connects. Hagen, Martin on defense for the Force. Taken away by Hagen. Hagen now weaving through 1, 2, around a third defender. He's got one more to beat. Hagen fires one off the mask of the goaltender. Out in front, Zaremba with a goal! Max Zaremba with a goal off loose change right in front. Zaremba download a battle for the puck. It's sent around. Chicago. Knocked away there by Martin. Bodorf to keep it in. Feeds it back in deep. Chicago maintains possession here. Wraps around, reverses. Bodorf coming in to apply some pressure. Pass doesn't connect on the stick of Zaremba. Back to Bodorf. Bodorf tries to feed it ahead. Can't get anything on it. Chicago takes it away. We got Hagen and Martin back on defense. Hagen poke checks. They maintain possession. Fire one at the net. Saved by Hosier. Around behind the net comes Hagen. Harry picking up speed. Feeds it across to Kelly. Onto the stick of Kelly. Back to Hagen. Hagen loses the handle. Centers it up. Nobody home. Chicago takes it away. Back is going to be Bodorf and Cumberland covering for defense. Picked up by Hagen, shoveled across to Bodorf. Offsides. Murphy to take the face off. One away by Chicago. Now Murphy back on the rush. Toe drags, fires one at the net, goes off the post. Maintains possession for the moment, and then Chicago takes it away. Leads the rush the other way. Chicago. Knocked away. Back in the offensive zone, poked out. There by Cumberland. It's going to be offsides on the Blues. Here comes Llewellyn. He winds, fires one at the net, goes high. The Blues take it into center ice. Kelly dumps it back in a little too early. Offsides on Llewellyn. 6:56 left here. We got a running clock, I guess, so we're going to be off a little bit. Running clock with the Blues down 5. A little over 10 seconds apart on my clock. That face-off was won over to Warner. Now the Blues on a rush the other way. Back checking there is Llewellyn. Down on the ice goes McDonald. And it gets fed around behind the net. Here comes Cumberland. Cumberland has taken away from his stick, shoveled down low by McDonald. Now Potts there to gather. Tries to pinch it on the boards, taken away by the Blues as they feed it up. Back on defense, going to be Cumberland Warner. Back check there by McDonald, takes the puck away. Cumberland comes away with it. Blues taken away. Legault there for the force. Onto the stick of McDonald. McDonald with some open ice. Weaves back to the middle. Stops. Keeps it. Feeds it over to Potts. Doesn't handle the pass. The Blues pick it up behind their own net. Poke check there by McDonald. Back onto the stick of McDonald. Feeds it ahead to Legault. Skips his stick. Potts takes a whack at it. Chicago shovels it to center ice. 5:10 left. Warner. Warner stick handling through the center ice. Maintains possession. Has it taken away by the Blues. Fed out to Easton. Legault now. Warner with it again. He charges forward. Warner entering. As it's stolen away by Chicago. Sent down ice. Pick it up there is going to be Cumberland. Cumberland feeds it ahead to Bodorf. Bodorf pinched off. He fires it in deep. As they go for a change, Blackburn on the ice. Westhoff on. And Martin. Puck shot down for Blackburn. Blackburn feeds it. Gets stuffed on a pass. Now Chicago picks it up, fires one. Save there by Hosier. Four minutes left. 5-0 Force. Blues shoot one, saved by Hosier onto the stick of Bodorf. Bodorf through center ice. Down low, Blackburn to pick it up. Sends it through the middle. Goes back over to Blackburn. Blackburn feeds it ahead to Bodorf. Bodorf offsides. .245 left to play. Taking the face-off is going to be Fraze. He wins it. Picks it up himself. Here goes Murph. Backhands one towards the net. Goes into his skates. Chipped up and over in front. Squirts out Chicago. Kept in there by Martin. Martin feeds it back to Fraze. Fraze with a shot. Saved there by Wells. Covered up. Two minutes left. Murphy to take the face off. Won by Chicago, knocked away by Llewellyn. Martin to slap it back down to Llewellyn. Mason with it. He gets slapped to the slash there by the Chicago player. That might be the first penalty of the game. And we got 1:45 left. Forced to the power play. Power play is going to have McDonald, Legault, and Potts with Blackburn and Martin back on defense. Oh, they did stop the clock. 1:36. See if we can't match them up here. There, they start the countdown again. Be on a power play the rest of the time here. Fed up onto the stick of Easton Legault. Easton gathers it, fires one towards the net, goes wide right. Blackburn down to keep it in, knocks off the stick of Chicago attacker, feeds it in deep. Chicago attempts to feed it up ahead. Blackburn with it, fires one towards the net. Goes off the head of a Chicago player. Ahead comes Blackburn. Skips his stick, down the ice it goes. Martin hot after it. 1 minute to go. Martin around behind the net, feeds ahead to McDonald. McDonald loses an edge, falls down, picked up there by Easton. Easton tries to feed it through Chicago's skates, blocked away. Now the ref's tied up in all this. Fed ahead by Chicago. Easton swipes at it, misses. Blackburn over to Potts. Potts collides with Chicago player. Center ice. We got 30 seconds. If anything now, we got pushing and shoving between Easton and Chicago player. He knocks the glove of the Chicago player to the boards. Potts and another player get upended. We got a penalty coming up here. We got 13 seconds left. The Blues are going to go to the bench. Add another attacker. And time's going to run out. On the penalty from Potts. Force are going to win this. A shutout to end the tournament here. 5-0. Unfortunately, with the way the cards fell, the Force will not be playing for a championship as the Palm Beach Hawks, who we lost to this morning, ended with the same record, and they hold the tiebreaker in second place with a win over us. So the Chicago Hawks went 3-0-1, Palm Beach 3-1, but beat us. So we'll come in third for the tournament, and we'll see everybody back for the next Force game.